Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime with Demons podcast. I'm Bella Caress. I'm your host, and I'm here with Ryan Stone as always. Hi, how was your week?
It was good, Bella. I had a really nice, fruitful week. The shop's been getting busier and busier, and I'm getting more and more used to it. So it's really fun, though. I mean, it's been a lot to kind of pick up and learn, but just how the whole thing works and all that. And then while, even giving like daily consultations to folks on like magical workings or what, and varying degrees, which is kind of fun too, is that, somebody that has like zero like knowledge to somebody that's a well-seasoned practitioner that's
hmm
just looking to see what we have in the shop maybe that might help with this particular item. So it's a lot of fun.
I love that. Has there been anyone that's come to visit you?
Not yet, not yet. But I mean, we just put it out Saturday, and I have a feeling the way that our episodes come out, there's probably like 40 or 50 people that like maybe Saturday it and then throughout the week. So I figured there was easily going to be like a week lag or two before maybe I see anybody. So
Okay. You'll have to tell me who comes to see you from the podcast, and maybe
yeah,
we can shout them out and like give them like a little shout out on the podcast or something.
yeah,
So
that would be
yeah, if
fun.
you're in Denver and you want to go hang out with Ryan, you should.
The store alone is worth just coming and spending time in it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I absolutely love is just being in the energy there and, being a part of it now. And yeah, it's really amazing.
The picture that you sent me recently of the store
Yeah.
in the morning, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was like Saturday morning, and we had incensed the whole place, and so there was this perfect amount of like smoke from that, and then it has like I think it's like six or eight skylights that just throughout the day get these just amazing beams of light, which is kind of cool, and I think it helps the plants out quite a bit too, because we have so many plants.
It was amazing. Like this photo was just so beautiful. The way the light was pouring in from the ceiling and then cutting through the smoke. It was just really spectacular. I love a skylight. I love a skylight. The day will come when I build my own house and it will be full of skylights.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Because I mean, just like having that light pour into your house from above is just so fantastic. Or pour into,
Yeah,
a
definitely.
business. It's incredible.
Yeah, those full moon nights, I think are also amazing with skylights as well.
Yeah, because then you could see the moon, and also the moon has its own light. And then, like, if your house is dark, ooh, and then you have the moonlight coming in from. Oh man, that's epic.
Yeah, fun
That's
stuff.
where that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
Well, how are
Um,
you this week, Bella?
I, I'm good. I'm good. I finished Numos, book one.
Awesome.
And so excited about that. And I'm already on to book two, which is very exciting. And it's been a good week. It's been a really interesting last couple of months where I've been experiencing time differently. Uh, and when you experience time differently, everything in your reality shifts.
Completely. And I'm with you about the time frames of it being dramatically, I think, different over the last couple of months, leading into this last couple of weeks, kind of getting more interesting the closer it's been the last couple of weeks. So yeah.
hmm Um, Speaking of time, that is our theme for this episode. So, surprise.
Sorry, it just totally reminded me in the shop. Somebody was like, I was getting herbs and they were like, and I'd like some time. And I was like, well, I have time, but do you have time? So terrible puns. It was
Oh
great
my
when they played
goodness.
along, though. I think we timed back and forth at least a couple of times.
I think a couple people from the shop friended me on Instagram,
Oh,
by
awesome.
the way. Like I was like, oh yay, I love
I
that.
like that. That's the other part, like I said too. The folks I work with are amazing. The owners there, I've even gotten to meet the old owner and the staffs that I work with.
Mm,
Everybody that I work with are just amazing people and practitioners of all walks, which is so amazing to me.
that's the way it should be.
Yeah, it's
You know,
awesome.
if you wanted a cookie cutter, then eat a cookie.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
not a person. Um, don't eat a person either. I mean, do what you want, honestly.
Consenting, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a whole other podcast episode on morality and go into like cannibalism and all that fun stuff. But let's stick with time
Time. Yes.
for today because Satanists get a bad enough rap, and so we don't need to talk about cannibalism just yet. But I do think it would be a great topic actually, just because Satanists get such a bad rap, and that everybody thinks, that we're over here eating people and sacrificing people.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a good thing to talk about and
Definitely a
address.
good topic, without a doubt.
Yeah, a good topic to talk about the gray areas of morality as a whole and the social constructs surrounding it, but also the fact that Satanists don't eat people, and that is another thing. um, but yes, time, and not the herb, but the experience in which we all experience as we are subject to the confines of time in a linear fashion within this particular dimension. Although, are we? Are we? And I'm going to treat this topic very delicately because I recognize that some of our listeners are very new to discussing things like this, and some of us have been doing this for a long time, and we're like, I understand the myriad of time and how bizarre it is, and la 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 la. So we're not going to do that. We're going to treat it like we're going to treat it with kid gloves and just be really delicate to it and really explain. So to experience time in a linear fashion is to experience time in a straight line. In other words, there is a past, present, and future. So on Earth, we follow that 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 structure,
That construct.
that construct. um, we as humans are born, we age, and then we die. So we are subject to it as well. Like we are subject to time. We can't necessarily escape it, uh, but we can mess with it. And the divine is not subject to time the same way that we are. And one of the best ways that I've had it explained to me, and I do explain this in my book actually, is that time is something that the divine stands within, the same way you would stand within the ocean. If you were standing in the waters of the ocean, you are touching the entire ocean all at once. You are all at once within, they are all at once within time, but also sort of swimming through it uh, in every direction, touching all of it and experiencing all of it at once. We don't get to do that typically as humans in our waking conscious mind. But we can do it in meditation. We could do it in our subconscious mind, and we can control time with alongside divinity more than we think we can. Have you ever been doing something really fun and then a couple hours pass and you're like, wow, that felt like 5 minutes? And then you're doing something really taxing and you look at the clock and literally it's been 5 minutes, but it feels like 5 hours. Because time is something that we experience. And so, based on our experience of our own life and the way we perceive our life experience, we can shift how time feels, and divinity can shift how we perceive time. So, between us and them and our own perspective shifting, we very literally shift time the way at least the way we see it. And then there's timelines that we can get into and realities that we can get into and alternate realities and string theory and kind of understanding some of these like larger topics surrounding time and the possibilities of such. Okay, Brutus. Get down, sir. No, no, no. Or come over here. Hold on one second. Come here. No, okay. My son, my
Perfect.
son. He has decided to lay on my computer. Okay, instead of laying in the window. Um, there we go. If you don't know this about me, I have a cat named Brutus, and he's a very large tuxedo cat, and he just likes to lay on everything, and very specifically anything that I am touching or near. He likes to involve himself. I can't blame him. But
He's such a good cat.
he really is.
I
He's
love
such
that
a
guy.
good cat. He's a big old boy. Um, he's not very smart though. He's kind of an alien. He really is.
He's just not quite accustomed to Earth. That's all.
No, he's really not accustomed to Earth. Mm-mm. Um, anyways, so back to time. Tell me a little bit about your experience with time. Tell me a little bit about your perception of time and kind of how you feel about
Yes.
it.
So for me, foundationally, I think I built into the current moment being the center point for me in my relationship to time.
Mm,
And that being that from here is the only real perspective I have of time. Anything that's in the past or future are possibilities or probabilities, even the past, actually. And
mm.
so my perception of what I believe could be those potentials of even my past or my future can only be perceived from this position of now.
I love that because I feel the same way. Time is what is available. That's it. Everything else is a theory, is a possibility, is a opportunity, but ultimately it's not available to you. So the the time that you have is literally right this second, the
Completely.
present moment. That is it. That's all you've got. And this present moment is way more malleable than I think people understand.
I agree. And that's also why I like that center point aspect of it because of how malleable I feel like it is. Just like in the malleability aspect of it, of that my past can change based upon my current position and my perception
Yeah, because what is the past?
story.
It's a memory. And what is memory? It is stored in the body, it is thought. And there are things that we have that kind of document that, like scars, like my friend at the gym who's an amputee, him losing his leg is not just a memory. He doesn't have a leg, you know?
Yep.
But it's the story in which he tells himself about that experience that dictates how time moves through you, not just how you experience it, but how you move through it. It's so strange because when you break time down like this, I feel like it gets really muddy fast. So I'm trying to be like super delicate with it.
And not to get too deep too quick.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, yeah. You know, I've had I love the conversation of timelines, jumping timelines, and what is a timeline. And there's a lot of theories surrounding timelines, jumping timelines, quantum leaping. Typically, a lot of those theories are built up around string theory, which is the idea that there are, and this is going to be a really piss poor explanation of string theory, because as usual, me and Ryan do not prepare for our episodes. Um, Although I'm not gonna lie, I did write a little something down about string theory, so I'm gonna pull that up. So I don't completely butcher it. But yeah, so basically you have, how do I explain this? You are living in a dimension. And on this, and in this dimension, you're experiencing your timeline, you're experiencing your life, right? But you make decisions and choices, feelings, and actions have consequences. You do something, there's a consequence to it, right? But what if you don't make the choice? What if you're between choices? You're between three or four choices. The idea of string theory is that everything that you think, every choice, every possibility, that it itself, because it was a thought, is the starting point or the particle point or the vibrating string of a new timeline, where in which you actually make that decision. And so there are literally at any moment versions of you on multiple timelines living out multiple possibilities. And sometimes those timelines fall short fast. Like you get hit by a car. Like literally, like you're like, I made the decision, I walked across the street, I got slammed by a truck, and now I'm dead. Like, those timelines sometimes don't always play out to be these like huge things. Um, in the idea of string theory, and I want to be super clear, there are some people that are like absolutely fucking sure that string theory is a thing and it is fact. If string theory was a fact, I'd be calling it the fact of string theory. It is not. It is called string theory, which means it's a theory that has not yet been proven scientifically. So this is not a fact. This is a theory. And I just want to like premise that before I dive even deeper into this like theory. Um, so if we want to think about particles as a whole, I'm going to get a little scientific for a second. When you're thinking about an electron, and it is literally, not metaphorically, I mean literally, like an electron vibrates. And inside of an electron, there's a quark. So it's almost as if that is vibrating at a different frequency than the electron is vibrating at a different frequency, but yet they are still in the same atom, like they're still in the same particle. And it's kind of like how like a string, like a piano string, like if you hit the piano key, how that can produce a different tone than if you were to hit another key, right? Like they're still strings, but they make different sounds. Um, so if you were to take these particles, which are vibrating differently, that are made up of multiple things, and you treat them as if they're their own points of they're their own fuck, how do I explain this? Mm. Mm. Yeah. They are literally their own dimensional points. So they're their own start or their own points of time. It doesn't really work fully. I'm gonna be really honest with you. This is why this is a theory, because this fails, at least in the land of quantum mechanics. This actually fails. As someone who, sorry, had a physics minor, this string theory does not hold up fully. And that's okay, because the framework, even though the framework is chaotic around string theory, there is a shit ton within it that I think still holds and still stands, because there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily understand about this 3D existence, like about our existence here, because there are atoms and particles, very literally parts of particles like quarks, that are observed and change based on observation. Literally, they are one thing vibrating at one frequency, and that as soon as they are observed by the human eye, they change. And we have proof of that. So we don't fully understand this plane of existence. And that's really what led to the expansion on the theory of string theory was because, yeah, we don't understand this sort of 3D world, but in order for this to work, there would need to be close to like 11 or more dimensions, which that opened up the huge conversation surrounding dimensions. That some dimensions are extremely small and some dimensions are extremely huge. And they're all within the dimension that we're living in. Actually, there's a really, I'm forgetting his name. Fuck, something Green. He's a string theory theorist, very famous, and I'm forgetting his name completely, but we'll put it in the notes. I watched him do a TED talk on this, and he was explaining the dimension of an ant walking upside down on a power line. Like his world looks a little different than our world, and yet we're living in the same world.
Exactly. I mean, like even the idea of quirks. I
And
mean, oh, sorry.
no, good.
Oh, just to say, yeah, even the idea of quirks are not that old. I mean, and we just keep finding smaller and smaller things as our technology gets better. And that's also part of why I think it's hard to uh, make sense or fully clause out the string theory because of our lack of technology to experiment it fully.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a strange topic to get on. And I just like to really say that like as much as I would love to give you like literal like mathematical elegant verbiage that like supports string theory, I can't. But what I can say is what I can share with you is my own experiences with these patterns or vibrations of different timelines. Because for me, in my UPG and in my own personal experience, even though I don't have science to back it up, I've personally experienced it. Like timeline shifting, where I recognize that I am now on a different vibration. I am now in a different, I've chosen a different timeline and moved on to that timeline. And it goes back to time as a whole. I think partially why string theory doesn't always fit the bill is because we don't discuss enough about time being nonlinear. When you open the conversation to time being this sort of ocean of possibility that like we can move, we just need to move where we are in the water, and then we move points and positions, meaning it changes our viewpoint, it changes our frequency. When we discuss that, then I think it does open up the idea of string theory a little bit more, although there's so much more details within string theory that are complicated that don't line up, but none of this shit lines up. So then you move into what are you experiencing? What is your UPG? And that's where I'm gonna like push the conversation now is into our UPG because unfortunately I don't have science to back up a lot of this. But I
And I
did
mean,
want to
that's
hit
much of
on
what
it.
we do in this work is we take what knowledge and information we can physically kind of parse out and understand, and then we have to let our personal experiences start to evolve that, which is what allows us to eventually, hopefully, help create technologies that meet it later. I mean, it's
Exactly.
much of why, like, they talk about how, like, all these ancient cultures knew things about the stars that they couldn't have possibly had known because they didn't have telescopes and things like this. And I'm like, well, what if through meditation and other abilities, whatever you want to call it, saw these astral things through that kind of projection and then believed them to be real when they were actually real. They just didn't have a telescope to see it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I think is fascinating about string theory as a whole is like, alongside what you're saying, is based on the lens in which you see the world, it changes how you process the world. So if it changes how you process the world, then what is real and what isn't. You know what I mean? And at that point, your brain is deciding what the universe looks like. And so if your
Yes.
brain is deciding what the universe looks like, then there's more than 11 dimensions. We're talking 5,000 possible universes all at once in the middle of time, which is happening all at once everywhere, with everything. So if you really want to dissect this, I mean, it gets abstract fast, fucking fast. Um, yeah. I know for me, I used to see timeline jumping as just being like, oh, I don't want to be on this timeline anymore. I just want to jump. I used to think that it was something that I could just like say, well, I don't like this, and so then I'm gonna just change it and jump. Um, and then I learned how to actually do it. And I realized, wow, that was ass backwards. That is not how you do it. Because then it actually happened. So much so that I have physical proof of it happening one time. I have pictures of it. I'm waiting for the day that the gods give me permission to share this. Because I don't have it. So unfortunately I can't share it with you. But I do have pictures of very literally my own personal timeline shifting. And that's okay that I can't share the story, but I want to share how it made me feel because it made me feel crazy. Like absolutely insane. There was one point where while it was happening, I remember talking to Lucifer in my head and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I put this, I'm gonna tell you a little bit, but it's like very vague. I put this right here and it is locked. It is no longer there behind the lock. It has moved to a different place behind a different lock with the same combination. That's all I can say. And I have pictures of this happening. And my question is, how was it tangible? How did that tangibly happen in my timeline? And when I went into meditation, because I didn't get an answer from the divine when I asked how, they just smiled at me. But I went into meditation instead to see how. And I saw myself do it. Not setting myself up here for this timeline. No, I saw another timeline where I chose to do something that I remember very specifically saying I wasn't going to do it. I was like, ooh, I have these two options. I'm not going to do it because I'm really tired and I don't want to go. And I apparently on another timeline did. And I really don't know if I intentionally left it there for me on this timeline to find it. I don't know if it was conscious. I don't know if it wasn't conscious because I'm not on that timeline, although I am now because I actively chose to jump in that moment. I saw it. I saw the opportunity. I saw it was like a portal of like just mind fuckery, and I took it.
Sorry, I love that because it is.
It really was. It was like this moment of like, oh my God, what do I do? And I felt this pull in my spirit say, you accept it and you choose to make the shift. But I realized prior to that, I had been intentionally trying to make a shift onto a different timeline for about 8 weeks at that point, nonstop, every day. I was putting an insane amount of work. I still am. I'll be really honest with you because this is a hard timeline to jump to that I'm trying to get to. The further away the timeline is from you, the harder it's going to be to jump. So I want you to like imagine something with me for a second. I want you to imagine a blank piece of paper, a white piece of paper. On the left side of the paper, I'm drawing a stick figure of you. On the right side of the paper, I'm drawing 6 other stick figures. And there's going to be lines facing like I'm going to draw a line from your single stick figure all the way on the left to all the lines, all the stick figures on the right. And then I'm going to draw one in the middle and then one on the bottom. And each line is going to each one is going to say something different. The top one is choices, the middle one is feelings, and the bottom one is actions. The stick figure to the right that is closest to you is going to be the easiest timeline to jump to. It's closest to you. That person, if you're a she, or identify as a she is going to make the same decisions as you, similar, maybe a little different. She's going to face some of the similar patterns as you, and she's going to have some of the same feelings as you and make some of the same actions as you. So it's going to be an easier jump. The one that is furthest from you is typically the one that has the life that you really want. But the one that is furthest from you, that one is going to be harder to jump to because they probably make very different decisions than you do, different choices. They probably have very different feelings than you do, and they probably make very different, they take very different actions than you. So the key is speak to the one that you want, figure out what are the choices that they make, what are the feelings that they have about those choices, and what are their actions when things happen to them. How do they respond? And if you really want to jump, you have to start acting like that, making choices like that, feeling like that, having responses like that, taking action like that, and being this, having the same reactionary response to the one that's all the way far away from you. When you do that, it is not going to be easy because the vibration that you've been on is then going to give you resistance because it doesn't want to go that far. Have you ever stretched a string or like on a bow and arrow, like when you stretch the bow, there's resistance. When you're stretching and changing your vibration that far, you are going to hit resistance. And it is going to suck. But that resistance is there intentionally to give you opportunity. It is opportunity to see what are my choices now? How do I feel about it? And what are the actions? And I've been doing this since about early January. And holy shit, the mind fuckery is crazy because I'm really locked into that timeline. So it is not easy to jump. It is not something that you can just do, but I highly suggest playing around with it as I have, leading with curiosity. Don't expect science to back your ass up right now. It's not going to happen. You can deep dive and jump into rabbit holes and on as many like philosophical theories surrounding physics as you want, but you're still going to come up short. I would know because I have. But it is very possible. And it begs a really incredible question when you do start doing this type of like quantum leaping for yourself. Is time real? Is reality even fucking real? And I'm not trying to get dissociative here, but like it is real. Don't get me wrong. Like, it is real. You get punched in the face, you're fucking punched in the face. We don't need to be woo-woo about it. It sucks. Shit happens and it sucks. But if your life is just a combination of millions of choices, make the hard choices to make the easy shit come through, And why not? Why not try it? What else do you have to fucking lose? What else do you have to do? What are you doing? Is your like target run more important than this? It's not, I can assure you. Like give it a try. Because everyone's like, I want to change my life so bad. I'm like, change it. It's not easy, but change it. Do it. You can do it. It's just really fucking hard. And there's a lot of resistance that will come up. And I'm at this point, each time resistance comes up, I'm like, I see you. I see you. I see your resistance. I see what you're doing. It happened to me earlier, like literally earlier in the kitchen. Somebody was asking me how much money Hey Coach was. And I had this moment where I was like, Hey Coach is really expensive. I was like, man, am I charging too much money for it? And I had this overwhelming feeling from that version of me that I've been communicating so deeply with over the last couple months. that she and I talk, and she came in and was like, that is not how I feel about that at all. And I was like, sorry, boo, sorry. How do you feel about it? Tell me how you feel about it. And now she tells me how she feels about it. And I'm like, ooh. So now I see the dissonance between my chord, my frequency, and her frequency. And if I want to get there, I have to adjust. So it does beg to differ about time. Time is fucking weird.
I agree. I think you said it well earlier about the malleability and that exists in the physical realm. I think because it seems so solid and this is all touchable and you feel like you're actually touching the stuff and you're really still not even touching the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's some of the ironies that is even proven now. And then you
Yeah.
start to kind of look at some of those things and build on those foundations. And then you start to wonder is how I got here is I start to wonder about really how malleable is this? How solid truly is this perception of reality that I live in?
Yeah. Yes. And it's not very solid.
It's not. It's not as solid as you like. And I know that's probably one of the harder things for folks because we like solid things. We want it to be black and white. But none of it is. None of it's black and white. There's not one choice, or you're just making two choices. You're making a million choices each moment of your day. It's unfathomable, really, to truly think about the decisions you make throughout your day from wake to sleep, just alone in one day.
Yep. One day can change everything about your life. One singular day, one singular experience can
Exactly.
change everything.
There was that cute Gwyneth Paltrow movie. I think it was called Sliding Doors or something like that. And the minor premise was is that one her catches the subway train and then one her doesn't. And one life goes awry and the other she gets the job and it has the great marriage and all of that. And I thought it was a cute, simple representation of what that potential can look like from, aligning and making certain decisions in your life.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. Um, there's there's also this it makes me think about when we when we're perceiving something on our timeline, we have a tendency to think really far ahead. Like we can manipulate the future or base things now on the future. Like when I was thinking about moving recently, I was at lunch and everyone around me that would be moving with me was bringing up all the reasons why we shouldn't move there, but they were reasons that wouldn't come into consideration until like next year. And I was listening, but then I was like, we're talking about right now, guys. Right now. Do you like this place right now? Not like what you think is going to possibly, how this is possibly going to affect us in the future. Like, I don't give a shit about that future at all. I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. Do you like this right now? Like, what are we feeling right now? I'm not saying that it's not good to consider the future, but what I am saying is when that is the dominant decision maker for you, there's a lot of things that are concerning about that for me when someone's dominant decision maker is everything that is going to happen. Because I'm like, you don't have that much control. You think you do. And you can hang on to that belief as much as you want, but this universe will prove you wrong. And do you really want to be in a boxing ring with the universe? Because that's what it reminds me of when people are like really like planners, big future planners. I'm like, you are in a boxing ring with the universe. You're not gonna win. You think you're going to win. And this is giving you a false hope of sense, like a false sense of security. And I love that for you because that makes it so you can sleep at night, but you're not going to win. Something is going to happen that is going to blow the fuck up in your face. So maybe like hang on a minute and reconsider. And I'm telling you, as someone who has lived in the present moment for years now, and I've been surrounded by future thinkers and um, married two of them, and both marriages, future thinkers. And doesn't always pan out.
I think there's a lot of pitfalls and trappings that we put ourselves in by being too far in the future with our thoughts and our processes of that we're trying to lock ourselves into that you really can't because you don't have that level of control in the
Mm-hmm.
future. Whereas here and now, you actually have that level of control. And the irony is that people think that they're accessing that level of control by projecting it into the future when you really aren't.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You think that you're pulling it into the future, but that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Future is now. The future is now. If that is what you want, if there's something that you want in the future, if you're like, I want to be this and I want to do this and I want that, the choices you make now, right in this very moment, are what are going to put that in your hand. But it is about repeated choices over and over and over and over again that builds that life. And you'll notice that everything else in your external world will start to change in order to support your choices and your feelings and your actions. It's supporting that. And that is how you manifest. That's how you bring it in. That's how you work with time. And that you get time on your side because you're then at that point you're then the one actually dictating how you use the time that is available to you, which is the now. And then you can start thinking ahead when you are already really locked into your now. That's when the daydreams start. That's when the curiosity kicks in where you're like, I'm excited to think about the future. I'm not planning my future, but I'm thinking about it. I'm I'm giving it life in my mind. And then you go, "Ooh, I love that idea. What do I do to get there? What am I going to do tomorrow?" Or not tomorrow, like if you're going to bed. I typically daydream while I'm going to sleep. So that's why I'm like tomorrow. Um, so if I'm daydreaming, before I go into meditation with the guys, I'm sitting there going like, "Ooh, that's exciting," and I'm like, "What could I do tomorrow that brings that towards me? That it brings me towards that." And it's not that I'm living for that, but I'm living for it now. That is who I want to be, so that is who I am. It's about honestly claiming your life, not waiting for life to begin, but rather living it unapologetically.
Kind of not letting it happen to you, but happen for you through your
Yes.
design.
Yes. I have another weird story that's like not even profound, just genuinely like me and Garrett were hungry and I really wanted a steak and he wanted steak and we really wanted steak from this particular Mexican restaurant. And we only had about an hour before we had to leave to get Juniper. And Garrett was like, I don't know if we have time. Do you think we have time to get Juniper? And I was like, time, we have time if we say we have time. And I don't know what came in over me to say that, but truly it just like we have time. We have time. We have more than enough time. And he was like, okay. So we went and we sat down and I just didn't look at the clock. I was like, we have time. We have the time. We have it. And we just sat down, ordered our steaks, ate our steaks. And as soon as we were done and paid the bill, I looked at the time and it was the exact time to leave in enough time to go get Juniper. So it was like, don't catastrophize of what could happen when you are in control. You're in control of your now, and that's it. And I made that choice. And when I made that choice, I also made the choice that there was time. And there was time. Our steaks came. They were great. We ate our food. We didn't rush. We didn't worry. We didn't look at the time. We didn't, nothing. We just had a great conversation, ate our steak, felt great, felt full. And it was exactly time that we had to leave. I don't know the science behind that. Again, just to be super clear, I don't have the science behind that. I'm just telling you that that was how it went.
I'm with you. I think it was back in 2020. I don't know why. I don't remember why I started doing this, but I would set this alarm that was like an extra 15 minutes or so before I technically wanted to be up. I would set it, and then so I'd wake up, just acknowledge it, and then knew that I had 15 minutes from there to my actual time to be up. And I would purposely just start by going, okay, I'm going to have 20 minutes today. And I would do that for a week or two until that felt like it. And then just kept expanding on the amount of time I could fill within that 15 minutes. And to me, this made time so much more malleable for me over the year that I did that very consistently daily exercise of it. And so now, even when I want to go to sleep and I'm like, oh, I'm only going to get 6 hours of sleep tonight between now and when I wake up in the morning, I need an extra 8 to 9 hours. I need that built into my sleep tonight. And I sure as shit always get the rest that I need nowadays.
Yeah, I get it. There's so many little things that are surprising to people when you really like look at time. And like my students, I make them do these like 60-second drills sometimes where I'm like, you have 60 seconds. I'm going to say the name of an entity and you're going to get a message. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, Lucifer, go.
So much
And
fun.
it's really fun. But I do it because 60 seconds is longer than you think or shorter. It really depends. It depends. Are you the ant? Are you an antelope? Like, how are you perceiving the universe? And where are you? Where is your head at? Where's your mindset at? And there was one point where she was like, I don't know. Food. He keeps saying eat food. And she's like, I can't get anything else. And I was like, girl, you have 40 more seconds. She was panicking. And I was like, you have 40 more seconds. Keep going. And then all of a sudden, calm, And it's like, that she got more. It's like 60 seconds is longer than you think if you say it is. It's more than enough time when you say it is. And he was right. That's all he really wanted me to do was eat food. Um, because I had asked him, I was like, "Are you saying anything else?" He's like, "Not really. I just told her to tell you to eat and to drink some water because you had 3 cups of coffee today." Um, so I mean, yeah, time is crazy. Like it's just one of those things that, like, yes, it exists. We're dying every day. That is a sure thing. You will die. I will die. We will all die. Um, welcome to Morbid Monday. Just kidding. And this week's episode on Morbid Monday is death. But truly, we're all gonna die. Womp womp. That's unfortunate, but true. And time is not on your side unless it is. If you know you're gonna die anyway, why not make this living moment, this present moment, precious, incredible, alive, filled with something, anything other than the wait for things to get better? Let them be better
Yeah, now.
now. And your external world will shift. I promise.
I'm right with you. I've seen it. I've seen how choosing to make every day beautiful, magical will
Mm-hmm.
make a world around you that is beautiful and magical.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I hope that we still have listeners.
Didn't go too far off the rails for you.
I know. I'm a little worried that we might have gone too far. But we can always touch this again. Um, if this is a topic that you guys are interested in, you can also go ahead and message in the Patreon chat that you really like this topic. And me and Ryan can do like a Zoom masterclass on timelines and kind of how to incorporate that and you in your manifestation work. Because ultimately, I do think quantum leaps and working with timelines is a version of manifestation work, and as like manifestation is a big deal to me in my practice, like I think that since I've started working with timelines too, I've learned that, oh shit, they're the same thing for
Yeah,
me.
as I say, I feel like they go hand in hand, if nothing else. Yeah.
They really do. And yeah, I can absolutely elaborate on how I've managed to involve this in my own life and practice, but it's a really fun thing to think about. It's a really fun thing to talk to divinity about, talk to the divine about it, because if you're working with them and you're doing deity work, their perspective on time is wild to hear and just so incredible to hear. And sometimes I'll even ask them, like, can I experience it through you in meditation or in the astral? And I've had some really incredible meditations because of that. So don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. This is my big thing, my big soapbox today. I'm just really, really just please don't let the limitations of the world, society, your family, your upbringing, your programming, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just break it. Break the pattern. Break the pattern. Okay. That's enough woo woo for right now. This has been lovely, Ryan, as usual. You look nice and green.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It's a good color for you. Like olive? Is that linen too? Like look at you.
No, it's
Oh.
soft, but I don't think it's linen. I would like actually to have more linen stuff, honestly.
Yeah, that's a very I can so see you in like a linen tunic. I don't know why. Just
That
vibe.
I could definitely vibe with.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, my friend. Well, much love. Thank you everyone for listening.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.